to part 3 of the business plan. I am Adriana Deshay, and we will go ahead and get in the last video. We talked about your competition analysis, your strategy, the strategy budget, and your location, all of which are included in your marketing plan. The last portion that's going to be in your marketing plan is going to be your distribution channel. So how do you plan to get your product from where you are to where your customers are? So if you're going to have a store, is it going to be online or are you going to have a physical location? Will you have a sales team or is it just going to be you going door to door? So these are all important in your distribution channel. You want to make sure you know your online store if you're going to have one, your mailing campaigns if you're going to have those, and if you're going to have a team of salespeople, you want to make sure that is all in the distribution channel section. The next section is going to be the sales forecast. The sales forecast is basically any projected sales that you plan to have or any sales you have had in the last 12 months. So the way that I did mine, because I do not have sales from the past, is I just projected mine based off of industry research. So my market share, my advertising methods, all of that kind of went into how I planned on making the sales. So in your particular case, if you're just now starting out, once you figure out your market share, you want to give an average number of per product. So if it's like $40 per product and you're going to have 1,000, you plan to have 1,000 people from your projected market share and your advertising, then that's going to be the projected sales that you're going to have. You do have to look at your cost of goods sold and your other expenses like rent or website maintenance fees or something like that. That doesn't go in this section. That's just a heads up. All right. That's enough with the sales forecast. It's pretty basic. Not too much you can do because it's going to be a series of charts and graphs. I've seen a mixture of charts and graphs. You can just have graphs. You can just have tables. You can have charts. You can do whatever you want to because in the end, this is your store. In my particular case, my business plan does have tables in the sales forecast section. So my income statement isn't a table. There are no graphs. There are no charts or anything else like that. I kept it very, very basic. Also, in this section, for any of your research that you come across, you want to make sure you notate that because that has to be in the business plan as well. You want to make sure you credit who you got the information from. All right. The next section is going to be your operational plan. So this is really going to explain the day-to-day activities that you're going to have in the store. So it says production, which is how and where your products are going to be produced, or how are you going to get your products? Is this something you're going to make? Are you going to buy it resell and mark it up? Or buy it wholesale, buy it wholesale and mark it up retail? If it's a service, is this a service that you provide? Do you come to people's houses to do that? In that, you also want to explain your inventory management. You want to explain the quality control if you're making it. So how are you going to ensure that it meets your standards, so therefore it'll meet your customer standards? Customer service. How big are you on customer service and how is that going to impact your customer? What qualities do you need in your location? Are you looking for a cheap rent? Are you looking for high traffic? Are you looking for a modern look? Are you going more traditional? Anything like that is going to go in here. It's not particularly location like when we talked about in your marketing plan. This is going to be your idea of what the location is going to look like in your head and how you plan on building it out. So it was the decor, everything like that. That can all go in this section. And the next section, and we're moving pretty quickly here, is your legal environment. So what permits are you going to need for your building? If you're doing online, do you need anything like specific to online e-commerce? I know in my particular case, because I was going with a mobile store, then I have to look at zoning and permits for selling in the city. Wherever I'm going, I have to make sure that I'm zoned and I'm permitted to sell and I don't have a physical location because it's a truck. So in your particular case, if you have a standalone store or if you have a store that's in a plaza or attached to another store, are there zoning permits that you need? What codes are you going to need for the construction if you're going to build new? That's all going to go in your legal environment. What kind of insurance are you going to have? Are you going to have insurance that covers you fully. So if the place burns down or if it floods, somebody steals something, you want to put all that in there. Any liability or bonding insurance, that is all going to go in your legal environment. Next section is going to be the personnel. So obviously we want to know who's going to run the store. So if you're not running it, are you going to have a manager? Are you going to have a couple managers? Or is there going to be a day shift manager and a night shift manager? Are you going to have associates? Are there going to be sales associates, or are these people that just walk around and fill the store? All of this you want to put in here. So you can put education levels. So if they're going to be like college students or high school kids, ages 16 to 18, something like that, what do you want to put in your store? And this can be dependent based on your target audience. So if your target audience is between 18 and 24, you want to go with your more college crowd. However, if you're looking more at high school students, between 12 and 16 or 12 and 18, you kind of want to go with maybe the 15 to 18 crowd. And so if you're going with that particular personnel, then you have to make sure that you put those work permits in too, because if you're under a certain age, you have to have a work permit to work. That's all going to go in here. So what training are you going to give them? Is it going to be just customer service, or are they learning the point of sales machine? All of that is going to go in here. How are they going to get that training? Are you going to bring somebody in, or are you going to do it yourself? The last thing that you want to put in here, and in my particular case, I put it in a table. How much are you going to pay? So if your manager's getting $40,000 a year, then you want to notate that. If you have an assistant manager and your assistant manager is going to get $35,000 a year, whatever the case may be, you want to put that in here. If you're going to have part-time associates, how much are those associates going to make? Are you going to have full-time sales associates? How much are they going to make? The benefits, if they're going to have health insurance, are they going to have this, are they going to have that? You got to make sure you put all of this in there, because what you're looking at is giving this to a potential buyer and saying, this is how much capital I need, and then this is why. And the business plan is why you need what you're asking for. And that's going to be, are they going to be hourly or salary? You want to put that all in here. The number of employees you need, which is important, because in mine, for the first year or so, it's just going to be me and, somebody else. Unless I feel the need to bring somebody on because of demand. But then after that second or third year, I plan to bring a new person on to the team, or a couple people onto the team, because we're projecting growth to almost double in the second year. So you want to make sure you know what you got going on there. All right. Oh, and in regards to personnel, who's going to do the schedule? Are you going to do the schedule, or is one of your managers going to do the schedule? And then who's going to do what? So is the manager responsible for inventory control? Is the manager responsible for counting registers at the end of the day? Or is that going to be something that you leave to your sales associates? They just have to sign off on how much is in the drawer versus how much is, sold, or whatever the case may be. Who's going to take the money to the bank? Because if you had to take cash payment, you got to get money to the bank. Such things like that. The next section in your operational plan is going to be your inventory. So when it comes to inventory, what kind of are you going to have? So in my particular instance, and I'll give you this, I'm going to buy wholesale and then mark up resale. So that's what you want to put in your inventory. How are you going to keep that inventory? How are you going to keep stock of that inventory? So are you going to count that every day? Is there going to be a POS system that is going to count it for you? Because I'm small, anytime I sell anything, I just make a tally of it. But if you're in a bigger store, then you want to make sure your point of sale systems and your online systems kind of going to go the same if you're going to have both, because you want to make sure when you come to your inventory count, whether that be biannually or whether that be, quarterly, or however you're going to do your sales, your inventory count, then you want to make sure that it's accurate to the best of your knowledge and the best of your employees' knowledge, because it's everybody's responsibility. And then suppliers. So where are you going to get your inventory from? In my particular case, wholesale sites, apparel marts. But if you're making the items, where are you getting your fabric? Where do you go to get your samples, so that you can make sure the quality is good, so that they can mass produce that? That's all going to go into your suppliers. Now, I don't think I put a particular, and I think it was very short, my actual supplier section, but I put examples of places that I will buy from. So, like the Los Angeles clothing market, they have a ton of stores. When I'm going online, a ton of the places I'm ordering from are in LA. So you want to make sure you put all that down there. Also, drop shipping. So if you're drop shipping, you want to make sure you put your drop ship websites in there as well, because those are suppliers. These are all suppliers. All right. If you're doing any kind of like service work, or somewhere where you're maybe doing wholesale and you're giving product on credits, how are you going to get that credit back? What's your qualification process for selling on credit? You want to put that in here, but because I deal specifically with clothes, I don't have too much information regarding credit policies. And then when you come to that, then I'm sorry, the dog is shaking the camera. When it comes to that, then you're looking at your accounts receivables and an accounts payable. So how is that all going to get done? In this particular instance, it's a fashion store, so there is no real accounts payable or accounts receivable, unless I wanted to do wholesale and then I'm doing like 10 net 30, something like that, and I'm not trying to do that. So that's all for the operational plan today. And we actually finished the operational plans. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon.